Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Ma'am, are you speaking?
Actually, I thought let's wait for one more minute for other students to join.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Uh, all of you, please put on your cameras. And today we'll be revising gravitation. Yes. So, what is the SI unit of universal gravitational constant? SI unit of universal gravitational constant. Hmm. Check the chat. Harshad Pranav. Hope you have done this chapter.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, we just started it yesterday. Sir just gave us an introduction till the Kepler's third law.
Okay. So motion and force and laws of motion has been finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then. To revise. Although it's not a meter per second square, this is
Ma'am,
something
it's
else.
9.8 meter per second square, right?
No. It's okay because you haven't done this chapter, so that's okay. It's not 9.8. There's a difference between the value you people are telling, that is small g,
Okay.
relation due to gravity. This is a constant factor which still has a unit. Yeah, tell me, so motion or force and laws of motion, which you want to revise?
Yes, ma'am, we're finished.
Hmm?
Ma'am, we're done with force and laws of motion and motion.
Force and laws of motion. Okay. Then deduce Newton's first law from the second law. I'm writing the question.
Ma'am, is it derivation?
Just it only consists of 3 to 4 steps. That's it. All the 3 laws are somewhere connected to each other. So you have to deduce first law, means start from the second and prove the first. Be quick. No one. At least tell me if you are unable to solve so that we do not waste any more time. No one?
Ma'am, actually derivation is removed from my syllabus this year.
Okay, derivation is removed, but this you can't say it's derivation. We have to just prove. Okay, wait, let me tell you. Who will state Newton's second law? Is Newton's second law also removed from your syllabus?
No, ma'am.
No,
Ma'am,
ma'am, it's said.
Ma'am, Newton's second law of motion.
Yeah.
Ma'am, Newton's second law of motion is force is directly proportional for mass times acceleration.
Okay. But initially it said something else. That F equals to m into a is the conclusion. We lead to conclusion that
Ma'am, the acceleration of the
how the force is related to the momentum of body.
ma'am, it's directly proportional to momentum.
To
Ma'am, force and momentum are directly proportional, right?
mindfulness, I hope that this chapter has been properly finished, right? Then why so much of confusion and not all of you are able to tell this?
It's basically like the rate of change of momentum which is there of the objects is like directly proportional to the unbalanced force which is applied on the objects in the
Yes,
direction of the force.
correct, correct. This states that force acting on any object would be directly proportional to the rate of change of its momentum. Means momentum, and what is the formula for momentum and what is it? Means what is this P? Tell. This is the way we write the express Newton's second law initially.
Ma'am, delta P by delta. Ma'am, V. No. M into V minus U by T, ma'am.
M into V minus U by T. V minus U by T is the expression for acceleration. So is P equals to M into A?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. But you just said, one of you just said that F equals to M into A. How can this contradict? It means P and F are same.
P equal to mv.
Okay.
Ma'am, P equals to M into V minus U.
Yes, M into V minus U only. This P
Ma'am,
let
momentum equals to mass into change in velocity.
correct. Basically, if you are to define P, that is momentum, it is known as quantity of motion, right? If suppose we are talking about the object's velocity, then it is simple velocity, means just the vector quantity of speed. But quantity of motion means when we multiply mass with it, means suppose mm, two different objects, a truck and a bicycle, definitely they have different masses and that too with a greater difference, but they are both moving with a speed of 40 kilometer per hour. Which out of these has greater momentum?
Can you repeat the question?
Truck and a bicycle, both are moving at the speed of 40 kilometer per hour.
Ma'am, the truck will have
The
more
truck will have
momentum
more momentum.
because the mass is
And
more
more
in
the
the truck.
mass, more the momentum.
Correct. And lesser the mass, lesser the momentum. So,
Yes, ma'am.
a brief idea you have got that what is momentum? Quantity of motion. Got it? So, according to the mass of object and keeping in mind its velocity, we can describe its momentum, right? So, rate of change of momentum means momentum should change, and obviously, if something has a change in its value with respect to time only. In physics, we tell with respect to time most of the things, in fact, everything. Okay, so P is
Yes,
M
ma'am.
into V minus U only. And now when we say change in momentum, that is P2 minus P1, or we can simply write this MV
V minus mu.
NU. Means this is dP actually. Okay, rate of change of momentum means just add T in the denominator.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now if momentum is changing, definitely mass will not be changing because this is something which always remains fixed. Time always changes, and with respect to time, what is the change in its velocity? So whenever, suppose we apply brake, we slow down our vehicle, or we accelerate, we increase our speed, there is always a change. If it is increasing or decreasing, that is a different matter. There should be a change, and because we have applied certain force even in slowing down and in increasing the speed, so that will all be directly means force will be depending upon that change only. And further leading to this, we get that F equals to when we open this expression, okay, let me dp by dt means m v minus u by t. So F proportional to m, v minus u by t is the expression for a. This is the way we get removing proportionality sign and putting equality sign. We need to insert a constant factor. So for ease, you will understand why these proportionality signs have are removed and then constant factor comes into play. And for instance, for this particular case, we take k as 1. So finally, we get F equals to ma. Okay. Now I asked you to reduce first law from second law. Okay. We have got this. So my solution for that question begins here at this point. F equals to m into a. Suppose, let me. Yeah. Suppose that force on the body is 0. Let force acting on the object is 0. Because Newton's first law says this only, right? Our body will continue to be in motion or state of rest until and unless an external force is applied. So let's say that no force we are applying on the body and no force is acting on the body. Okay, let's say force is 0. Then what about this expression? Look at this expression. It's LHS gone 0. M into V minus U by T. This expression equals to 0 means right hand side will be 0 when, now see, m into v minus u by t, you can say, like multiplication of two factors, m into this bracket factor. Now do you think that mass can be 0? Can mass ever be 0? because product of two numbers will be 0 if either of these is 0. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So which out of these will be 0?
Ma'am, final velocity?
See, let's solve it step by step. Because the first factor written here is m. So m can never be 0, isn't it? Because it is mass,
Yes, ma'am.
right? It means that v minus u by t, the whole bracket will be 0. Now, if any fraction is equal to 0, that means the numerator 0 or denominator 0. If I make y 0, something by 0 is 0 or something by 0 is something else.
If x is 0, then the answer will be 0. If y is 0, it is not a
It is
real number.
infinite, not defined, right? So for a fraction to be 0, its numerator should be 0. Means numerator is 0 only is the possible case that the whole expression will be 0. This implies that the numerator v minus u will be 0, and which is further equal to v minus u equal to 0 means v equal to u. That means, look at the expression carefully, that the final velocity of object is equal to its initial velocity. No change in speed, no change in velocity. When, if we assume the force acting on body is 0. So here we are able to deduce first law from Newton's second law. Not it. This is a question only. You cannot say this is a derivation. So only one of the condition you have to remember, that let force be 0. Now it's just expand this expression and you will lead to this v equals to u. Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
You can note this down. Noted. Ninth class, have you noted? Should I clear it out? Class 9, please tell me if it is done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Next question. Write the question, please, on dictating. A cricket ball of mass 0.2 kg. A cricket ball of mass 0.2 kg is moving with a velocity of 1.2 meter per second. Just a second, I need to take a snap of this. Yeah, a cricket ball of mass 0.2 kg is moving with a velocity of 1.2 meter per second. Full stop. Find the impulse on the ball. Find the impulse on the ball and average force applied. Find the impulse on the ball and average force applied by the player.
Can you repeat from the beginning?
By the player if he is able to stop the ball in 0.1 second.
Can you
If
repeat the
he is able to stop the ball in 0.1 second.
Ma'am, can you once repeat the question?
A cricket ball of mass 0.2 kg is moving with a velocity of 1.2 meter per second. Find the
what is the mass?
Pardon?
What is the mass?
0.2 kg is mass. Moving
Okay,
with
ma'am.
velocity 1.2 meter per second. Find the impulse on the ball and average force applied by player if he is able to stop the ball in 0.1 second. Noted? So let's first write the parameters that are given to us, the values. Mass of the cricket ball is 0.2 kg, which is moving with a velocity of 1.2 meter per second. Impulse is to be find out an average force. Impulse. And I'm writing FAV like this. Okay.
Now, what is the formula to find impulse?
You tell me, that's your revision class. What is impulse? If he is
Ma'am,
able to stop
FT
the
is
ball,
equal.
just a second, let me write the given values. If he is able to stop the ball in 0.1 second, okay, and stop the ball means the final velocity is going out to be 0 because the ball is finally, somebody is going to stop the ball.
Ma'am, the formula for impulse is FT is M into V minus U.
Correct. Change in momentum is only known as impulse or simply force into time. Okay, let me clear it out. Wait. No need to cram anything. Physics is not at all typical. You just need to uh, have the concept in mind. No formula is to be crammed out. Nothing. No unit, etc. And everything you can make on the spot. See, in the previous solution, we came to the expression this force equals m v minus u by t. Expanding the expression that force is proportional to proportional to dp by dt, rate of change of momentum. Okay. Here, if I multiply this t with force, it means see, F into T is a mathematical term expression. But how to understand what is this? When we multiply something, it means that parameter, the quantity is going to be increased by a certain value. So force is going to increase by what amount? By the time value. Force is acting on object, but for how much of time? So that like we said, mass multiplied by velocity becomes quantity of motion. Motion word strikes, it tells us that something is related to speed and velocity. So how to connect this with quantity? Multiply it with mass simply. Okay. Here we are telling impulse, force acting for certain span of time. So force into time. And equally, on other hand, we have rate of change of momentum, mv minus mu. So you have two formulas for finding impulse, that is force into t or change in momentum only. Okay, because impulse means for how much time the force is acting on object. Here in this present case, if the batman is hitting the ball, suppose the ball comes out here at the speed of 1.2 meter per second. Ball, it hits the ball for the fraction of second. It hits the ball for this particular span of time. You can say the impulse was present in that ball. After that, when the ball was passing over, then after traveling with certain speed and certain distance, the value got 0. After that, this question says that if the player is able to stop the ball in 0.1 second. Okay, fine. See, this is the case I've told you. Sometimes the question will ask you to find the impulse, like ball hits the bat at this speed and it goes back in certain direction with this and this speed. So find the impulse. This is one of the case. Presently in this question, a player is going to catch the ball, and when we catch the ball, suppose it is striking our, it is approaching our hands with a speed of 1.2 meter per second. Then after like 0.1 second, the player also, takes back his hand a little bit. Why? So that the hand do not get hurt much. If you will try to stop the ball immediately where the ball is, you definitely will get hurt. But if you, give it some time to come to rest, you will not be hurt. Okay. So here V is 0 after 0.1 second. In between this, the time is 0.1 second. So you have to find this impulse. Now substitute the values and find out. You have M, you have U, you have V, you have T, everything.
Is force 2.4 Newton and impulse 0.24.
Impulse how much?
0.24.
Unit? Unit you can make right now. Don't worry if I have asked the unit and you don't know it. See,
Ma'am, it's Newton by second for
not by
impulse.
second. Force and time are in multiplication, so Newton second.
Newtons.
And means only 0.24 or positive or negative sign, if you can tell me.
Ma'am, negative.
I mean negative.
What does negative sign indicate?
I mean it's basically like the friction force which applied in the opposite direction.
That ball took the opposite direction to the initial velocity.
Yes, ma'am.
And while substituting the values, keep in mind that if any one of the unit is standard, then all other units should be taken in standard terms. Means one in CGS system, one in MKS system will not work. V
Yes,
is
ma'am.
0 minus 1.2, so 0.2 into minus 1, okay, 0.24 minus 1 unit per meter second. Now tell me the value of average force. Average force, you can say the only value of force means here are three formulas in equality. So if you take out impulse value you have already got, let's put F into T equal to this. So F will be equal to impulse divided by time. This only you need to tell in next part. Find the force. Put the value, find the force quickly.
Ma'am, 2.4.
Minus 2.4. Newton.
Newtons.
Everybody have got the answer. Okay, move on to the next question. Okay, next question is a bit simple. Which would require a greater force? Note down. Which would require a greater force? First part, accelerating a 2 kg mass. Accelerating a 2 kg mass at 5 meter per second square, or 6 kg mass at 2 meter per second square.
What is the question?
Which would require a greater force? Accelerating a 2 kg mass at 5 meter per second square, or 6 kg mass at 2 meter per second square.
Ma'am, 6 kg mass at 2 meter per second square.
Yes.
What's the value, amount of force?
Ma'am, 2
10
into
Newton.
5,
10
10.
Newton.
And the second one is 6 into 2, 12.
12.
Okay. Next, a bullet of 10 gram, a bullet of 10 gram strikes a sandbag at a speed of 1000 meter per second. At a speed of 1000 meter per second. And gets embedded after traveling 5 centimeter. And gets embedded after traveling 5 centimeter. Now calculate. First part, resistive force exerted by sand on the bullet. Resistive force exerted by
Ma'am,
the
can you repeat the question once more?
Okay. A bullet of 10 gram strikes a sandbag at speed of 1000 meter per second and gets embedded after traveling 5 centimeters. So you need to calculate the resistive force. First part, resistive force exerted by sand on the bullet. Second part, time taken by bullet to come to rest.
Ma'am, what is the formula for resistive force?
Means there is no specific formula for every question. You will not find it at all every time. You have to take out the formula out of the already learned expression. Think what's happening here. Connect it with the concepts that you have learned. This is the example of motion in a straight line. And the three equations of motion have been built to apply on this case only, whenever any object is moving in a straight line. No parabolic path, only straight line motion. A person fires, bullet leaves the rifle, gets embedded in the sand. After striking the sandbag, it still travels 5 centimeter and then finally come to rest. So you have to apply the equation of motion for this case. Now see which equation would suit better as per the given conditions. The question here is like this. When the bullet leaves the rifle, after striking this point, it still travels 5 centimeter and finally it comes to rest at this point. Got it? And the mass of bullet is given 10 gram. Strikes at a speed of, that is initial velocity is 1000 meter per second. How simple is this? Ultimately it is coming to rest, so V0. And distance traveling is 5 centimeter. Just calculate resistive force. If you are applying any equation of motion here, what you will get, because in equation of motion we have certain fixed parameters only, U, V, S, T, A. All the three equations have only these parameters, right? Now you have everything except A. So if you find out A, any formula you have for which, using which you can find force? Tell me. 9 plus, come on, tell me.
Ma'am, mass into acceleration.
Mass also is given. If you just apply any of the three equation and get acceleration, substitute the value of acceleration and mass, you will get force. And that force will only be the resistive force. Now think which equation will suit better. Quickly. If we apply A, first equation, V equals U plus AT. See, A is our requirement right now. A is already needs to be found out. We have U, we have V, but we don't have T. So two unknown parameters will not work for us. Already A is unknown. Okay. Second equation, we have S equal UT plus half AT square. Okay. We have S, U, and A is to be find out. Again, we do not have T. Second will also fail in present case. Third is V square minus U square equal to AS. We have V, we have U, we have S also, and A is only unknown. So single unknown factor. So third equation, apply third equation, get value of A. Be quick. Quickly get the value, please. Anyone got the answer? Is it that typical? Class 9, I'm waiting for you all.
Ma'am, is acceleration minus 10,000?
10,000?
Oh, no, ma'am, 1 second, 1 second.
Hmm.
Uh,
See, you need to openly practice and do not hesitate. All this is to all those who are not solving and just present in the class. Because practicing only will help you build the confidence in numericals and all the concepts. Just learning theory will not work at all, I'm telling you. Because already weightage of MCQ has been increased as per CBSE, and board pattern is only followed for grade 9 students also. Means in case of theory, earlier it would happen that 3-4 mark question is there. If you write some stuff, you will get 2.5, etc. But MCQ means only single correct answer. And if you select the incorrect one, no mark at all. So this is going to be typical. And only way you win is by practicing. Have you got this value? After acceleration, simply is equals to MA. Mass is 10 gram. If you didn't note, I have converted the value 5 centimeter into meter here only directly. Okay, because velocity is in meter per second. Standard terms, distance was not in standard. Its SI unit is meter. So I converted. And here mass also I'm going to convert directly. 10 divided by 1000. 1 gram equal 1 by 1000 gram. And acceleration is minus 10 to the power 7. Tell me what's the answer now. Quickly. 7 minus 2 is 5. So minus 10 to the power 5 Newton. Negative sign already indicates that the force is resistive in nature. The force was to stop the bullet from moving. Next part was asking time taken. For time, we can use first equation, that's simplest. V is 0, U is 1000, A is minus 10 to the power 7, and time needs to be funded. So 10 to the power 7t equals 1000, and t equals, how I written it? 10 to the power 7t. Ten to the power minus 4 seconds. Okay.
minus 1.
Suggest you to practice and come up in the discussion. Sitting on mute will not work. Okay, children, if we get another chance, we'll revise more. Have a nice day. Bye.
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
Hmm.
Ma'am, my paper just got over.
Hmm.
Science. The science paper, ma'am, I did good in physics, but I lost marks for I couldn't finish a 4 marker on time, so I got 1 for it.
You
Ma'am,
got
it was
one.
the Galileo's experiment. I couldn't solve the full thing because I had 5 minutes remaining.
Okay.
Ma'am, next class, can you once explain the Galileo's marble experiment as well?
Galileo's.
Ma'am, the marble experiment performed by Galileo.
Okay. That on the inclined plane.
Yes, ma'am, the inclined plane one.
Okay, sure, fine. If I get
Yes,
the
ma'am.
chance, definitely.
Yes, ma'am.
This is until
Thank you.
8 o'clock.
Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.